how is everyone doing today? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a long time and we are here with our first league of Generation 8, which is the PTL. Now, there's a few things different about this league that are dissimilar to other leagues that's been on the channel. So one is that it's a Gen 8 league, which is cool. Second is that it's a lot of people who I don't really know. So that's pretty cool. I sort of told myself when I came back into the community now almost a year and a half ago that I would sort of insulate myself towards smaller, more community-based leagues, and I still think I've done that, but I got the invite to this league. It was a lot bigger than other leagues I'm typically a part of, and usually I like those smaller community-based ones, but I still felt this one had a hint of community because it's team-based. So it's basically, there's 4 teams in the entire league. They're made up about 9-10 people, I think. And I was recruited by Zombie, who's someone who I've shared numerous leagues with. Matt is in my team, aka Dr. Slacking, who I'm insanely close friends with. Slick Panther, Galadite, all people who I've sort of interacted with throughout my entire time here in this community. So I figured it would be a good opportunity, even though basically all my opponents are people who I really don't interact with. That being said, really cool to be a part of a new community and be such. I've already ruffled some feathers there, but anyone who knows me knows that that's basically all I do, but people will get used to it, so that's fine. This is a draft analysis for it. So it is Gen 8. For those who don't know me, my name's Aquarius. Hello. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. I'm just gonna go into the 10. For those who don't know, it's Gen 8. It was only national decks, or sorry, not national decks, it was only Galar decks, but you were allowed the mons that are transferable, so like things like Necrozma, Celebi, which are only gettable from Pokemon Bank or whatever, Pokemon Home, but aren't transferable via what was I gonna say, aren't transferable, aren't like in the game itself, but are only possible through Pokemon Home. Those were things that were allowed. And then hidden abilities on things that weren't yet released were banned, because I think there's some that you can only get through raid battles, but some of those raid battles aren't allowed yet. So things like Libero Cinderace and the grassy terrain on Rillaboom, and what else? Just like random things. Like I think like Unaware isn't allowed on Clefable because it's just not possible to get in the game. And the other thing about this is moveset wise is pre-home. So even though the Pokemon allowed are post-home, the movesets that are allowed are pre-home. So like the Pokemon that are post-home but can't use post-home movesets, that was kind of confusing to me, but like they're only allowed the moves that they're coded to learn in the game itself. So this league's gonna be pretty interesting in that not a lot of Pokemon have things like Toxic, which is pretty interesting. So we'll see how that goes. So I'm just okay, sorry about that. So yeah, we're going to go into the draft analysis is. So pick number 1 was Komodo. I really wanted to get Necrozma, but that was after I had picked Komodo, because I learned that Necrozma got some pretty gnarly shit that I didn't know it got. But I'm pretty still happy that I got Komodo. It is allowed to have this move called Clangorous Soul, which takes 33% of my HP, but basically gives me an Omni boost. It's not like No Retreat where I can't switch out. And if, you know, it is technically spammable, like I can use it more than once as long as it doesn't like kill me. I've used Komodo before, and Owl was pretty good, although it was pretty reliant on Z move, so we'll see how it does without a Z move. But Clangorous Soul and then like Drain Punch to get the HP back is pretty huge, and just having a Dragon type right away in a draft that I forgot to mention is like 20 people in such a limited dex is definitely really scary. So just getting an immediate Dragon type right off the way so I wouldn't have to settle for something like really bad is really nice. So that is Komodo. I guess other things I can say about it is it didn't really lose any coverage in the sense of what I can run, I believe. Yeah, so the what is being shown here is correct. So in terms of coverage, like I didn't lose anything. It still gets the elemental punches, still gets poison jab, did fairies, still gets like things like taunt, stealth rock, gets sword stance, gets belly drum, gets autonomize, gets dragon dance. So not much that I lost there, which is pretty nice. So the next mon, I don't know how this fell all the way to me, but it's Cinderace. Never used it before, obviously, because it's my first Gen 8 league. It's the only Gen 8 league I'm going to be doing, basically for my first part of my winter semester. I just finished my finals, by the way, today, which is why I'm recording this, which is really nice. But Cinderace looks pretty cool. It gave me like immediate speed right away. And it seems just really solid with this Pyro Ball move. It doesn't have a lot of PP, so like pressure stallers will kind of suck, but the fact I have like Flare Blitz without recoil is pretty damn cool. And I don't think it makes contact either, so things like Iron Barbs, Rocky Helmet aren't going to do much. It gets U-Turn, it gets Priority and Sucker Punch, and then it gets this cool move called Court Change. Since post-home move sets aren't allowed yet, hazard clearing is so difficult to come by. Like, there's some teams that have like one hazard clear, and their hazard clear is hot garbage. So, yeah, just having like higher tier hazard clearing that's really cool via this Court Change ability just seems really nice. So yeah, it gets other forms of coverage, things like Zen Headbutt, High Jump Kick, Gunk Shot. That's about it. Acrobatics, I guess. Iron Head. So like decent amount of coverage, and some niche things like Court Change, Sucker Punch could come in handy. Even like Reversal I could see being nice, or like a Work Up set. So yeah, pretty good. Oh, it also gets Bulk Up. I didn't notice that. So Bulk Up's pretty huge. I can't use Libero, which I think I said at the start, but you didn't know that I had Cinderace at that moment, unless you're in the league with me. In that case you do, but basically I only get Blaze, but that's fine because Blaze boosted Powerball seems pretty good. The one concern about this is hazards, but it does get like the heavy duty boots, so that might be nice, especially with Court Change, so that's pretty nice. We will go into what the next mon is, which I actually have to check on my phone because I typically forget. Yep, okay, so next is Mimikyu. Mimikyu gave me a nice little speed stat to bridge between Komodo and Cinderace. Gave me 11 higher than Komodo, which is nice, and then it also gave me priority, which I didn't have. The team is sort of stacking up to be very physically oriented, although I kind of typically run special Komodo a little bit more than physical Komodo, and with Clinger of Soul I have sort of an option to do either. Mimikyu is also just really nice because it gives me a fairy type, which like as you'd imagine in a 20 mon draft that's limited to the Galar decks is very hard to come by. There's not a lot of fairy types to go around, so Mimikyu just seemed really nice. The one thing about it is it did get a little bit nerfed now that when its disguise breaks it takes like 1/8 HP, but that's not really a huge deal. It's not like Mimikyu was like a bulky mon living hits anyway. It was mostly one hit KO'd by most things anyway, but still maintained things like Taunt, Trick Room, Will-O-Wisp, so all very nice options that I can run. I think just the difference is that I can't use like a Focus Sash set. That being said, like things like a Life Orb and things like an Eject button will be very cool. Or is it Eject button? I think it's Red Card. Red Card is what does it. So yeah, still get the Stab and like Play Rough and the Priority and Shadow Sneak and the Swords Dance, and it's a good time. So next mon is Hippowdon. I needed some bulk. I didn't have anything that could switch in anything, so I wanted something reliable that could sort of just sit there and spam Slack Off or spam some recovery. I do get Sandstream, which is pretty nice, although I will spoil that I don't have any Sand Abusers. I was going to draft like things like Heliolisk, but turns out Sandville was banned anyway, so it's all good. Hippowdon gets really nice coverage, which I think will come into more usage than it has in previous generations, purely because of the fact that it doesn't get access to Toxic anymore, which is kind of huge. But having a rocker that takes pressure off of Komodo just looked really nice, and there wasn't much other stuff in terms of ground types that seems like things I really wanted. I think I'll be running Whirlwind a little bit more than it was ran in previous generations, as well as things like Body Press seem really cool. If I just sort of want to run like, whether it be like a Curse set, things like that. I think it got a little bit more versatility, merely by the fact that it's not forced to run Toxic anymore. So things like Yawn could also be really cool. Really nice coverage. It has a slept on attack stat, like 112 is pretty good. Also a good thing about Hippowdon, which is something that I struggle in like previous drafts when I usually make my own team, is I usually tend to have like a lot of like fast mons, and then Trick Room becomes an issue. So having a mon that is sort of slow and creeps upon other slow mons is really nice. So that's really cool. Gives us an electric community as well as sort of a nice reliable stealth rocker. So next mon, I have no clue how it fell to me. I think it got taken like round 2 of the other draft. There were 2 drafts going on because there's like 40 fucking people in this league. But it was Gothitelle. which does get access to Shadow Tag, and also got buffed because I think it gets stored power now, which is kind of insane. Yeah, it gets stored power, Calm Mind, and then like literally rest and coverage move like that, or rest, sleep talk even, like that's pretty damn good. So I'm a big fan of it. I've also seen things, I've never actually used it before, but it's always been one of those mons that's intrigued me and has always like made me think like, I wonder if I could be good with this. It also like seems like a good stall breaker, and I love a good stall breaker with things like taunt. If y'all don't know, taunt is like my favorite move, and the fact that like 4 of my mons get taunt, I think Kamau gets taunt. Yeah, so the fact that like 4 of my mons get taunt is so nice. Foul Play's cool, Nasty Plot's cool, Thunder Wave is cool, just sort of spread status, and I've even seen things go on with like fake tears, I think is what it's called. Yeah, that lowers the def and then kills with something else. So it just seems like there's some cool stuff that could be used. Hypnosis maybe, Mirror Coat, like I don't know, it just seems like one of those psychic types that has ample coverage to hit things, but also has sort of niche moves that can go off. So we'll see how it goes. Definitely a cool looking mon that I'm excited to try. So I didn't want my only form of hazard clearing to be Court Chain Cinderace, so I had to look for a defogger, and there wasn't much going on. And I did have 2 ghost weaknesses and 0 resists. Granted, Bulletproof Komodo does pretty easily block Shadow Ball, and I had the best physical ghost in the draft, if I remember correctly. I can't think of a better physical ghost outside like Aegislash, which seems to be running special more than physical anyways. But anyway, just in case, because I wanted another defogger, and I also wanted something that was a ground resist because all my Pokemon are grounded, I had Braviary. Now, Braviary got buffed. I'm probably still going to be running Defiant most of the time, although I guess Sheer Force could be something, maybe. But generally, Bulk Up Roost is always reliable. Support with U-Turn and Defog is always reliable. The one move that I got that makes it a lot better now is Close Combat. It also has Iron Head. I'm not sure if it's always has Iron Head or not. 57 special attack is basically nothing, but fuck it. Maybe I'll run Sheer Force, Hurricane, Specs. That might be kind of insane. But it has other things like Tailwind support, which would be really key for something like Komodo or Mimikyu. Setup potential on its own. Pivoting, which I only have Cinderace right now. Crush Claw's a cool move, but basically it's just a basic normal flying. Another mon that I've never used before. In fact, the only mon so far that I've drafted that I've used before is Komodo. And it was in a league that I actually didn't do that great in. I think actually the league I used Komodo in was my least successful league since I came back to the format. So I don't know if that's going to be redemption or another unsuccessful thing. I've heard people in this league, and apparently some people have told me my schedule is like borked. So I'm not taking this league like absurdly seriously like I did Gen 7 leagues, because I sort of had an epiphany that like focusing too much on league is hurting my grades and my college performance, which obviously is a lot more important. So I'm just sort of going to be building and having fun every week and live comming when I can. So that's going to be cool. But I just wanted to draft mons. One that would make me interested in Gen 7, which Cinderace definitely is getting me interested, on top of things like Gothitelle, and seeing a meta without Toxic is going to be pretty interesting, as well as this Klinger, Soul, Komodo. But, you know, I just also wanted to try mons that I've never tried before. So currently 5 out of 6 fulfill that role. Alright, I need to figure out what the next mon is. Okay. Yes. So currently I have a speed gap between Mimikyu and Cinderace, and that's pretty bad. I also don't have a Steel type / a Fairy resist, so let me delete these boys. Alright, well, it's a draft of 10, so I'll leave these last 2. So last mon I got, or the next mon I got, I should say, is Durant. It's a mon that I've used technically once before in the BFO Surge tournament, where it was going to be my Linoon answer, and I would have won in my bracket game had I not been crit by a Belly Drum extreme speed from Linoon when I was at 100% health, but, you know, whatever. So we'll see if Durant suffers again this time. Without Hustle Z move, it's not that great. It's probably worse than it was previously, although that's not necessarily true because it gets first impression, which is pretty nice. So just like an immediate priority move. Given my only priority right now is Mimikyu, and just if I'm about to get swept by something, priority first impression is actually pretty damn key. So yeah, that seems pretty good. Also has things like Thunder Wave, but most of the time Hone Claws plus, I assume it Oh shit, it doesn't get home clause anymore. Uh-oh. Well, we're just gonna have to pretend like we're gonna land every time, and you know what? We will. So that's fine. I actually didn't know it doesn't get home clause anymore. That must have been one of the moves that was taken out from the game. But you know what? That's fine. And with 109 attack, there might be even some situations where like I could just run Banded and like Swarm or something. Or like Truant and Entrainment if I'm that fucking much of a god, but I'm not, so I'll probably be running Hustle most of the time, but who knows, maybe I'll run Swarm. Like I said, just gonna have fun with it, and this was a mod that definitely intrigued me. I now sort of wish I knew that it had Hone Claws, but I don't think it would have changed my pick. Maybe it just would have prolonged it to the next round, but that's fine. So the next mod I wanted to get was Stone Joiner, but someone else on my team wanted it. So I didn't go for it, and I don't have a water type yet, so I opted to get Barbaracle. Barbaracle is pretty interesting. Once again, a Pokemon that I've never used ever before. In fact, every single mon I've drafted so far and will draft the last 2 picks after this will be mons I've never used before. But with Tough Claws, it seems like a really nice pick, and I needed a water type to resist ice types as well as fire types on my team. Things like Shell Smash and just having a Shell Smash sweeper is pretty cool, and especially since it's low tier, I think there's a lot of scenarios which people won't prep for it. I only have 1 Stealth Rocker in Hippowdon right now, so and Komodo, but having a 3rd is pretty nice in Barbaracle. Not to mention like things like Pickpocket, if I'm like Focus Sash, could be cool. Along with like Sniper, I think Razor Shell is no, it doesn't have crit ratio, but Liquidation Tough Claws is just gonna be really good, and it has enough speed to run Scarf. This does fill a speed gap between like Hippowdon and Gothitelle, I guess, and maybe Gothitelle. Yeah, Gothitelle already filled the speed roll, so never mind. But I just thought it was a cool mon that I've wanted to use before. Liquidation plus Tough Claws seems pretty good, as well as Stone Edge. Gets Sword Stance, but I don't know I'd ever use Sword Stance and not Shell Smash. Things like Switcheroo is really nice. Another Taunt mon, which is beautiful. Yeah, pretty good all around. Hone Claws plus Stone Edge could be funny. But generally just sort of a all around physically attacking water type, which is pretty nice. So one problem is I have a lot of physical attackers, and my only like dedicated special attacker is Gothitelle, which will probably be used for niche purposes, which probably means I'm going to run Komodo special quite a bit, but that's fine. But I wanted to get my last 2 picks to be special mons, and I wanted another electric resist, so it's not all sort of thrust upon Hippowdon, and I don't see like constant grass knots. I also just generally want an electric type, as well as another pivoter that could pair really well with freaking Cinderace. So I ended up getting Raichu, which lasted all the way. And with Lightning Rod, it seems like it could be a really good pick. It did maintain basically everything that made it good from previous generations, including Volt Switch, Surf, Grass Knot, Nasty Plot. I think it also gets, I think it gained Play Rough is something that's new with this gen, so it definitely got some level of a buff this gen, even though it's in a small way. Nuzzle is something that's really cool that I've seen other people use that seems really nice. And generally just like it's a mon that looks to just be pretty good generally. It doesn't get extreme speed. I know it got extreme speed before, but I guess it doesn't this time around. Speed swap is pretty interesting, though I probably won't be using it. Sweet Kiss might be new. I don't know. Pikachu always gets some random shit, so I guess it doesn't get too much. Like Iron Tail, it's always gotten. Draining Kiss could be pretty funny. I'm pretty sure that's new. Draining Kiss with Nasty Plot could be interesting to see, but generally Focus Blast, Grass Knot, Surf, Electric coverage gets the job done. It could be mixed, but generally it's just gonna be Specs or Life Orb, fast, special attacking mon. No hidden power is kind of shitty, but since it gets already a water move and a grass move, it's pretty nice, and all the mons that are 4 times weak to ice have gotten cut from the game, so pretty cool. Last mon is I wanted Vileplume, and then Vileplume got taken, and then I wanted Abomasnow, and then Abomasnow got taken. I just wanted another ground resist because right now I just had Braviary. So I took a page from my friend Sip and got Blossom, which is fitting. It's like a mascot because, you know, Chicago strength stat, and, you know, we love Vileplume up in here, but sometimes Gloom just decide to take another path. So we ended up going with Blossom, and I was looking at its stats a couple days ago, and it was a lot better than I thought it was. I thought it was HP was like 50, 60, like 50 HP and 60 defense. Nah, it's like a lot better. So just like if I can run like this and like strength sap, I'm good. Like this actually like is really respectable bulk, and it gets the exact same coverage as Vileplume. Not to mention it can also run. I mean, it doesn't exactly have the effects war ability, which I loved on Vileplume, but it also is resistant to ground, actually, so that's pretty cool. And then the one thing it does get that Vileplume doesn't get is Quiver Dance, so this is now like a legitimate, potentially fast setup sweeper that could be really good. Quiver Dance plus Strength Sap could be pretty huge, because Quiver Dance boosts your special defense, but not your physical defense, so this is sort of a way of counteracting that. If I see things that are really weak to grass, or really weak to poison, or really weak to fairy, I might just bring this thing. But generally it's pretty good. It gets Leaf Blade, I didn't even know that. Leaf Storm is pretty cool, Dazzling Gleam's pretty cool. I can't Quiver pass, but I wonder if I could like Swords Dance pass or something like that. That'd be kind of fun. But I could sort of just see this either being a special sweeper or a special sweeper or a freaking, what do you call it, like a just like sit there and strength sap. And I can't toxic, unfortunately. I don't think. Oh, it can. So this is a mod that can actually go for toxic. That's crazy. I don't think I had any of those on my team. Yay, look at that. So now we have something that can toxic, which is something very weird to say in a draft league, but we have something that can actually use toxic. It's chlorophyll, so it could take advantage of teams that have like Torkoal, which I know is something that a few people have, as well as regular Ninetales. So Blossom's looking really cool. I don't think there's much else like growth in the sun, but I don't know why I wouldn't just Quiver Dance. Petal Dance is cool, but no reason not just use like Leaf Storm or Giga Drain. Gets Teeter Dance. I know they banned Confuse Ray, but if they didn't ban Teeter Dance, that could be pretty funny. Talking to my man Jacob as always. Rules. I complained about the rules, but in like a joking way, and everyone was like, "Don't joke about the rules," and I was like, damn, okay. Is Confusion banned? Wow, shitlords. Jack is so mean. Okay, I'm just kidding. I love Jack. Yeah, I don't see anything about Confusion. Items are banned. Moves. Ah, Confusion moves. Damn, that's too bad. So I can't run Teeter Dance. Dang it. No fun. No fun at all. It's okay. That's fine. Is Baton Pass banned in every instance? Moves. Baton passing any stat boost is banned. Can I Baton Pass like a sub? That seems fine. Well, pivoting in itself is cool too. So I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but yeah, it's a cool league. I'm going to be facing a bunch of people who I don't really know. Probably going like 6-6 because I'm not taking it too seriously, but I just want to make some fun stuff, and I think I've drafted some mods that are gonna make it that I have a lot of fun. So I think I also got some pretty good steals. Like Gothitelle round 5 is pretty huge, so we'll see how it goes. But for now, I will see you all later.